Happy full moon in Aries. Boy, is this a powerful one, and I'm going to break down how we personally will use this as a very powerful shift and a catalyst for growth and change and sort of a breakthrough into a new level of our own prosperity, really. I'll get into the hidden numerology, and it really shows some really cool teachings. But let's get into some of the basics of astrology. So this moon, Aries Libra dynamic, as we know, are the equinoxes, right? Spring or fall. So anytime we have a Libra Aries dynamic, on some level energetically, we're reliving the equinox. So we happen to be in Libra season, right? So the sun is in Libra, and I say this every video, but there's always new people on here. A full moon the moon is going to be in the opposite sun sign. So in this case, it's Aries. You see how, we kind of have that equinox calibration, that frequency here. We're dealing with those same themes. Every year we have an Aries and then a Libra equinox, but every year we have a Aries and a Libra full moon. So, and what are the equinoxes? The equinoxes are times of initiation. It's a time of commitment to your growth, a commitment to your path. And it really is an energetic breakthrough energy, regardless of the equinox. These are the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs start a season. You know, astrology is, a lot of it's based on the layout and the sort of this matrix of seasons and solstices and cardinal points and whatnot, not necessarily exactly where the stars are where you're standing. I don't want to confuse this video. These are probably pretty important moons, and because the equinoxes are a time of this breakthrough, it's either a new beginning or it's a commitment. That's also a time in the magical tradition that we utilize endurance and we stay the course on our path. So it is indicative that we apply a lot of discipline here, which is great for the 29 degrees of Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of discipline and honor. There's dignity in it. Someone commented on the last video, and that's true. In magic, I'll just say the autumnal equinox, but the Libra equinox, that's when we sort of draw this last boost of energy that carry us through the darker times. We have a moon that's similar to that, but this moon, Pluto is squaring this full moon and Mars is squaring this full moon. Why is that? Because Pluto is in Capricorn, cardinal point. Capricorn starts the winter solstice or the Capricorn solstice. Yeah, summer. Okay. So I want to be inclusive of the southern hemisphere, but if you're down under, you know what I mean. And then Cancer starts summer. But either way, regardless of the season, all of these energies, this is a cardinal cross. They start something new. You might be feeling it, but I'd also say there's probably a lot of tension and anxiety when there's something so powerful. And so the key with this is going to be directing it. And I'll get into that. And the numerology is just so aligned, as always. But I just love this as far as the astrological message. Aries, it's an Aries full moon. Simply put, Aries is you, self, your true desire, gut instincts. What do you want? What the hell do you want? That's like this moon. Anytime we're dealing with Aries energy, it's not meant to be in a selfish way. It's just, there's a way of sort of honoring yourself. What are your priorities? What are your desires? What are your boundaries for that? Because this opposite dynamic is Libra. Libra is about the others. And we've also been living in a Libra South Node, Aries North Node time for the whole planet. Aries North Node, the North Node is a code for leaning into what you need to learn, or some level of destiny, if you will, but that's a direction and an emphasis you want to go. And Aries is like, you kind of got to go your own way. This is why we've seen a lot of split ups, breakups, shake-up, especially this last eclipse. A lot of breakups and shake-ups there. I've mentioned it a million times, but I've done a lot of readings, dealt with a lot of divorces, things like that, because Libra is the other, but the South Node So where are you shedding sort of burdensome relationships? But the deeper teaching of that dynamic and the Libra South Node is sort of the accounting exercise that I gave for the equinox. And that's a reconciliation and sort of balancing the balance sheets of your entire life. Could that be people that don't serve you? Absolutely. But the low vibration, the low frequency people, they don't sort of handle these energies appropriately. So you go for what seems like the best first thing in front of you. Maybe it's a split up, maybe it's a divorce. So be mindful of that. But this is a T-square, that means there's a lot of tension right now, but the squares are 90 degrees in astrology charts, but squares are tension that is meant to be utilized as a breakthrough. So you need that sort of resistance. So it is a catalyst. But I bring up that South Node because it is Libra season. It's just been a theme. These nodes are about a year and a half. And then I think in the beginning of, I think it's sometime in January 2025, the nodes switch and it goes into Pisces and Virgo dynamic. So we'll have a North Node in Pisces. So there'll be plenty of videos on that. And then we'll have a whole new arena of eclipses coming into 2025. But we've been dealing with this Aries Libra dynamic for a little over a year now, coming on a year and a half. And this is the Aries full moon. So Aries is, again, is self, it's breakthrough, it's power. It's the Emperor card is attributed to Aries. This is also, there's a code in this card. If you notice this crossed leg and how he sits, but it's also the Hanged Man card. Pull out the Hanged Man card. In almost any tarot, it makes this cross with its legs. So this is also a code that says, okay, the higher teaching is an emperor or a leader is truly of service to the empire. The empire is not of service to the emperor. That is a paradigm that really got misused and abused for however long, last probably thousands of years. But again, on a deeper level, Aries is honoring yourself. How are you being of service to yourself? What is your true desire? The desire part's going to come up even more in the numerology of this. But again, the Emperor can be very much a breakthrough energy, and it's like clearing a new path forward. Aries, the simplest keywords are going to be pioneering, trailblazing, things like that. I'm sure now you could go on a USA Today probably has an astrology article about it, and that's what they're going to talk about. But again, what is something new, right? This sort of equinox energy is something new in your life, but it's also going to be a powerful reconciliation. Its opposite energy is the Libra card. This is the remember, the measuring of everything. This creates balance, but again, it's a restoration to order, and it is a clearing. Libra is sort of secretly this very powerful and potentially destructive force because it reconciles everything. Here's the accounting, because it's trying to get to like this zero balance, if you will. It can be almost like a new slate, sort of a karmic new slate. This burns it off. This adjusts it. When you know how to direct it, it really is a powerhouse energy. Let's just treat it as our own little new beginning. And I think we can use this as inspiration and a little fire under our butts to even go into this new year, because there's such a powerful collective energy. And the numerology changes, and I'm telling you, it's true and real. We all see it. And we're moving into a 9-year, which is going to take much more sophistication to navigate. And then it's squaring Mars. This is the Mars card, so this is powerfully destructive. And then the Death card, which I don't have out, it's squaring Pluto, and I just made that Pluto video. I utilize this card for Pluto because overall this is the transformation into your highest potential in its simplest definition, right? So it is sort of a new birth. It's even a child here. You can see these little like babies about to be born, things like that. This is the letter Shin, which is fire. When the tarot came about, it has held a space for Pluto, but people didn't know about Pluto. I still believe the mystics did. They just didn't reveal it yet because there's room and it's right here. But you could also argue the Death card, which is the card of Scorpio, because Pluto rules Scorpio, is about powerful transformation. This is that powerful transformation, but this is that powerful transformation already actualized, already realized, coming into that. So it's the new potential. So it really can be sort of a new you. This this is just clearing out the old. What's the dead weight? Right? What's the dead weight of your life? What makes your heart heavy, right? The equinox video for Libra, I always get into the weighing of the heart. Is your heart as light as a feather? Well, you might have all this, like, what barnacles of insanity are attached to your heart. Well, burn that shit off. That's what this card is for. And this is also a powerful higher force, the eye of God, coming in, clearing everything for you. So everything that you built up on an illusion. So this is an opportunity. Be prepared to let go of stuff, but that is only painful when you're attached to the illusion of your own confusion about it. Again, a grand cross is like all of these planets are hitting at 90 degrees. It looks cool in the chart, but man, that definitely is like, it's going to be shake up and change. I have concerns for the planet and those that are less aware because Mars is in Cancer. I have several videos on that. That really activates your sense of inner security, safety, family drama, trauma, things like that. And then on a good note, it's a very protective energy. It's good for getting things done around the house, stuff like that. Gina really has done a big nesting, clearing, old stuff. We have bags and bags of stuff. I don't know, where does the stuff come from? I'm looking at a stack of mail that I need to like sort through. Mail is I'm a Sisyphus with mail. Ever since, total side note, I always set everything up paperless. I don't want mail unless it's like a gift, a package, whatever. But as far as letters, once I bought a house, my God, I had no idea that junk mail was still a thing. It's like the second, I don't know, these mortgage companies or whatever. But anyhow, that's like, I'm just looking at that saying, I need to clear that up. It's probably just one credit card after another, lower your insurance rate. Let's see. So we have a powerful cross, and we're talking about Mars, we're talking about Pluto. That's because Pluto is in Capricorn, 29 degrees, and then Mars is in Cancer. Again, cardinal signs, activation, initiation, new beginning. And then we have Mars, fucking powerful breakthrough, tower card. Pluto, I mean, that's the purification. That's your soul. Again, more cleansing, purification energy for the planet. What does that mean for you? You need to purify and clear the obstacles that block you from really doing your true will and what you really want. And again, in a very evolved way, not your petty little desires. Okay, so in a petty little desire that is untrue is one of the obstacles that should be cleared away. This, again, the lesson of Capricorn with this Pluto energy that we're in is standing in honor and being dignified and being that sort of leader, that boss. What are you building? So just forget about, this is the time. This isn't the time for amateurs and your like little petty delights. All right, there's a time for that. But this is a big energy combined with the messages from the comet and the mini moon going into a new year, changing frequencies from an 8-year, which is like vitality and chutzpah and let's go, life force. 8 is the pranic life force, into 9, which is way more advanced and it's way more subtle and refined and nuanced. It's like when I was young and I drank coffee, I thought I wanted super strong, extra dark, espresso-y, I want to drink tar, right? Well, that's really simple. And then much older, and I started learning about more refined coffees, and none of it's a dark roast. If I see a dark roast, it's just like, you can like what you like, but I'm using this as a little example of 8 to 9. 8 is just obvious. 9 is like, once you get into the nuance of things, the subtlety and the sophistication. I love it. We're going to do great, but it's not the number of simpletons, that's for sure. All right, so I think that's clear. The basic astrology is pushing. By the way, the moon is on the October 17th, which is for most of us a Thursday at 7:25 a.m. Eastern time. So adjust for your time zone. Obviously, that's like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in California. So adjust, but 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, like New York City. I'm just going because now I'm back. I'm an East Coaster again. All right, so let's get into the cool numerology though. And the numerology really just backs up what the astrology is, like in a most obvious way this time. So we're dealing with this powerhouse dynamic, activation of new change, reconciliation of just old crap, whether it's karma, that the things that are in the way of your growth. When we add these up, the Hebrew letter here is Lamed, and that is 30. It's this little guy here. There's plenty of videos on that. That is the whip, right? Are you getting whipped into shape? And then this, actually the card, if you use the Thoth deck, which I recommend, this is actually incorrect based on the systems and that I was taught. And so that's not the letter. The letter here is He, which is 5. Remember, that's the window. Do you remember in the Tale of the Mini Moon Part 2? Some of the numerology coded in that had to deal with also a window, and it was a window that you opened to have clarity and how to attain the gold, which is the truth of you and your soul and your spiritual transformation. Well, this is the letter He, and it's symbolized as a window. So a lot of opportunity, right? So where things have been opaque, it's just like open that window to see clearly and then breakthrough. I like that little part about figuring out how to find the gold. But the numerology here is 5. That's my long way of saying, what are we working with here? It's 35. 35 is a big energy number. I guess you could say also 3 plus 5 equals 8. We're still in an 8 year. That's life force. So I guess it gives you a little more energy to help with these breakthroughs. I don't want to get too heady here, but there's something called magical squares of the planets based on mathematical formulas. I don't really work with them, honestly. It is a part of certain magical traditions, but essentially it's a grid that sort of it encapsulates the frequency of that. And in this case, 35 is the magic square of Jupiter. I mostly bring that up as a code for Jupiter, that there's a love and a kindness and a mercy and an abundance here. So this isn't like being so severe, right? This is just, hey, let's just clear out the way because I have a bigger calling. And this is your time. I'm telling you, this moon is a time for your calling. And your real calling, it very well is going to be deeper and bigger than, hey, I have a job. A lot of people on here, they have good jobs that they want to keep, and it's fine. So it's not about that. It's just about a certain satisfaction of life, and more will be revealed in a few minutes. It just tells me 35, we have a hint of this Jupiter energy, blessings. Jupiter is blessings. Jupiter is wisdom. Right? Wisdom is the real blessing, because with wisdom, you kind of always know the right move, right answer. 35, Pythagoras considered 35 the number of harmony, and it is the perfect equilibrium of coordinated forces. Well, this is the card of Sun is in Libra. This is the card of equilibrium. This is the card of force. So when that's reconciled, when you know how to direct the energy. So what is Aries? The energy of you, yourself. Well, where are you directing yourself? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to take this, right? And I don't mean just like physically going, but you get it. So it's interesting that the numerology ties back to some Pythagorean philosophy here of the harmony. So how do we harmonize this? This is us taking action, but this is like, again, Libra sort of clears the way, and it's getting off the sort of dead and the old. I do feel like this is almost a rocket ship energy with this cross. Pluto, which is really about much higher destiny and what your soul wants, your soul's desire, squaring this Mars energy. I mean, that in and of itself is quite volatile and powerful and can be quite destructive. I've heard some other astrologers, not Tashi, who I mention a lot in these videos because she's a friend of mine, so I don't want you to think that, but just other astrologers I tune into once in a while. And then stuff on social media. I don't know who these people are. They have some little doom and gloom predictions because this could be a volatile energy. So, I mean, if we see violence, Mars in Cancer, people get activated, triggered. They feel threatened. It's homeland, your inner security, things like that. With this tension of these cardinal signs, like, you know, just screaming for a change or a breakthrough. So those who are confused and frustrated, sometimes those breakthroughs, they don't know where. It's like a snap energy. So, you know, we'll see how this plays out. But again, the perfect equilibrium of coordinated forces. So that should be a powerful reminder of how powerful you are and how you really can create and cause bigger change in your life. Aleister Crowley said magic is change. Dion Fortune, who wrote the Mystical Kabbalah and a magician that I really like, she considered magic the act of causing change in alignment with your higher purpose and will. That's really what Crowley meant, but also it's change. And this is a time of change. The only constant in the universe is change. So let's change. This also, 35 in of itself, means to redeem, to save, and to liberate. Well, I kind of often refer to this and this energy. There is a redemption. It's a reconciliation. Again, everything is square now. That's why we do that accounting exercise during that fall equinox or the Libra equinox. But again, the liberation, this is about your freedom, right? With the last video, the Capricornian energy that Pluto's in for like another month, that is really finally learning the lessons of where you also feel stuck and where you're keeping yourself down. Like I said, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. This is a liberation from your own self-imposed oppressions here. Also, on a negative note, 35 is to defile, to pollute, because this is a very powerful energy. How do we direct it? Like Pythagoras said, of coordinated forces. If we don't direct this, if we don't have some bearing and vision of who we are and what we want, I say this all the time, somebody else is going to put that vision in you. And right now, especially in America with an election, people are just, you know, they're all around doom scrolling. Yesterday, I finally tuned into some of the like regular media, like MSNBC and CBS, and I was just like, oh man, wow, like these are some crazy narratives flying around in the election, and then who knows? So the point I'm making is don't defile and pollute yourself with a bunch of nonsense, meaning don't allow somebody else's vision to come in. This is an Aries moon. This is about you, okay? What do you want but your true desire? Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto in general, which is squaring this moon and sun, that is the truth of the desire of your soul. That's real soul satisfaction. Everything else will feel empty. So this is a great time to just clear that away. It could be a time where are you polluting yourself? It could be toxic diet. Who knows? Maybe you're consuming too much of a substance that's not good for you, whatever the case is. Also, 35 is the word Babel, the Tower of Babel. What? That's the Tower card. One of it's like, that's a lower level interpretation, but this is the Babel card. So where are you babbling? Where are you just blah, 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 right? Where you lose your own autonomy and awareness of self. This is where silence is very powerful. This is actually the card of silence. So you need to tune into yourself. You know, the story of the Tower of Babel is, simply put, you know, a bunch of men made bricks and built a great tower unto God. And then it was like, no, God's not up in the sky. And then God or whatever shatters it. But that was the time that the idea is the whole planet, everybody spoke the same language. And then that got fractured. We have different languages. On some level, if love is the law, on some level, not to sound totally cheesy, hippie, but it was like there was probably that language on some level was probably love, and this fractured everything. Again, the deeper lessons of Babel is what have you built up and what are you attached to that is not actually real and true for you. So examine that. This is going to be a great full moon for that, because what are full moons traditionally used for? A shedding, a letting go. The new moon is starting something new because the moon goes new and it's growing and expanding. Well, the full moon, it's now waning and diminishing. So let's let it go. Just let go of all that BS, all those false narratives and where you've polluted yourself with somebody else's vision. Aries is self. When you tune into Aries energy and use it wisely, you know what you want. It also, 35 is to set boundaries on one level. See, for the world that feels like an escalation of conflict, I mean, even this election for America, the border is a big thing, boundaries, stuff like that. Also, what are your boundaries, those parameters? Let's go back to Capricorn energy that's squaring this moon. That is discipline. Discipline comes through setting a boundary, honing in on your skill. Where do you direct the energy? Otherwise, it's an explosive burst that just fizzles out, right? And goes nowhere. It's like, this is a rocket launch energy as long as you can restrict and confine it and direct it. So set those boundaries. You know, we'll see it play out in personal relationships, setting boundaries, especially within Aries Libra dynamic. 35 is also, I have videos on this, but it's the royal treasures. And this is considered the real, so this could be riches and treasures and opportunity and material prosperity in some sense. But its deeper teaching is that this is the magical power within you. And right now, there's a lot of power to be had. It's not coming from the astrology. This is what's within you. This is your free heart. Libra is your heart as light as a feather. Ma'at, this is the goddess Ma'at, the truth, you, for real. And so how are we going to, we can tap into that. And now we should have awareness in how to direct that. But this magical power that dwells in you, I don't know why I was sort of wanted to discuss this. There's something in magic and alchemy known as the Philosopher's Stone, which is actually can be its own, an actual substance, like a magical elixir, if you will, that like totally shifts your consciousness into essentially what the Eastern tradition would call enlightenment, but total awareness of self and truth and purpose and acting that out. Essentially, this is about your spiritual growth, this royal treasure, that power that dwells within you. But I'm going to warn against this because I'm seeing it happen. When you think that you have achieved or you're doing this or growing spiritually for the desire of great power, you're doing it for the wrong reason. That's just a side effect. But there are many tales of wanting that power first or trying to bypass and skip the work to have your enlightenment. I see this now in our culture. Everyone wants to take a couple, drink some plants, have a magic tea, put on electric fucking brain waves, this and that. Drugs have been around for a long time, or there's a consciousness of entitlement. Everything should be free and open, and because it's the information age, I always say you can't Amazon Prime your enlightenment. And so this magic, don't, in this energy, don't anoint yourself as your own one true teacher, if you will. It's starting to happen. It's an entitlement and it's a confusion. That magical power comes through doing this work and for real and shedding off those obstacles for real. 35 is also this power of God, this royal treasure, again, the magical power that dwells within you. I see people my whole life, they want to get into magic or get into this and they delusional. They just want some power, a power without the Dharma, without the tradition. Capricorn is tradition. That's been a big theme right now. And Capricornian energy is squaring all of this. So we can make great advancements and we can move fast. Just don't short circuit and try to bypass it or think that, oh, now you're the powerful one. Also, this royal treasure is meant to is in the realm of the Asiya. The Asiya is the earth realm, the earthly realm, the realm we live in. But the prosperity, the royal treasure is mental and emotional riches. What does that mean? For you, look at that. So it should be a real clarity, a powerful awakening of consciousness. And that power does dwell within us. I think I'm going to tell you this, you're more powerful than you think. to cause change and to advance and to grow, and what are the obstacles and what do you really want. This is going to be the great moon to really tune into that, get that sort of zap, and then shed off those obstacles. It's a real great time for that. And it is also considered the energy, the power of desire, sort of back to the coordinated forces. But we have to use this power of desire correctly. And we use that correctly. We need boundaries, we need discipline, we need focus, we need honor. All the things I talked about are final lessons of Capricorn and Pluto. But it's a consolidation of your energy. So don't let this just sort of, if it's sort of this explosive energy, use it. Are we clearing a path? Are you blasting a hole through the mountains so your train can go through, whatever? You get the idea, because otherwise this will just be we have access to this great power and then we dissipate it. The Tower of Babel, the babbling. Babbling in magic, over talking is really a code for where you're just letting your sort of life force energy scatter and dissipate, right? So there's a honing in here and a mastery. And 35, I was going to lead with this, but I'm going to end with this, is the number that is the power of God. Okay. So we're really in a very powerful, I think, pivotal moment here, even though this is, next year we'll have an Aries moon. But with this cross and in general, the Aries and Libra dynamics, these equinox dynamics, we do deal with the power of God. I remember this bumper sticker that was popular for a while. God is more powerful than a bomb. I always thought that was a good reminder, because we get sucked into the ways of the world and the muck and mire and the trauma and this and that. There is something higher coming in, right? This really ties into those mini moon video, the Wrath of Sekhmet, the redemption of Magdalene, and this comet. And this full moon is really a power of God moon. Let's use that for tremendous growth. So with that, happy full moon in Aries.